What's up, everybody? I know, I'm sorry, this is a day late, and I gotta talk fast because we're talking about Quicksilver. So we're gonna be talking about Quicksilver in this video. We're gonna go through his kit, show him some footage, talk about some concerns I have with him, namely, how the hell are we gonna get this character's shards because he is such a good character? Are his dark promotion credits gonna be dark promotion credits? That's not how those words are supposed to work, but that's how I said them, and I hope you enjoy the video. All right, everybody, I'm here live with my friends on Twitch, and I've been asked to go over Quicksilver. Now, because I'm live, I'm not able to edit out the sneezing and the coughing as much. I'll do my best, but it's probably going to make its way into the video a little bit. So, first things first, I just want to do a brief dive into what Quicksilver's kit does. Then we'll talk about where he's likely going to excel the most. I have some big concerns with this character. We can talk about that, and we'll watch some footage. You know, we'll watch some footage before we talk about the concerns, because they kind of lead into each other. And I'll turn this music off because it'll get me DMCA striked. So let's turn that off now. Hopefully it was inaudible. I digress. Here we go. So his assist / counter. So he's a very strong striker. He's going to attack the primary target, clear 2 random positive effects, repeat the stack an additional time if the primary target has any positive effects. So he's just clearing a crazy amount of buffs. If none, instead he'll bonus stack and apply disrupt. It ignores defense up and cannot be counterattacked. So he's protected basically from killing himself into counterattacks, because as we're going to see, he takes a lot of turns, and it cannot be blocked or dodged. Very, very powerful. Basically the exact same wording into his basic, except it hits harder. It hits harder. This guy hits super hard. So his special, which is available turn 1. And I guess we should talk about T4s as well. I believe he's a 4 out of 4 T4 character. Yeah, basic, definitely want to do that T4. Special, yeah, the clear all negative effects and 300% piercing damage. That's got to be one of the most valuable T4s we've ever had in the game. So he's going to clear all negative effects on himself. He's going to hit for 700% piercing damage. We will see the amount of damage this character does is bonkers. He's also going to apply defense down for 2 turns and slow for 2 turns. This pairs him really well with a character like Kestrel, as we will see. He's going to clear charged on the primary target, another clear charge mechanic. So that's really good in war when you think about a character like Kate Bishop or Heroes for Hire. Or even who else gets charged? I don't know, Red Hulk? She-Hulk? Pretty interesting stuff there, right? It reduces speed bar by 30% as well, so turn meter rewind on top of that. Gain offense up for 3 turns and defense up for 3 turns. So you do want to use this right away, even though you're probably not going to be removing that many charged at that point, because the offensive for 3 turns is going to do so much lifting following over. And this attack will also ignore defense up, and that cannot be blocked or dodged. Now his ultimate, this is going to be a turn 4 ability, I believe, which is kind of crazy. Or turn 3, one of those. Turn 3, 1, 2, 3. Regardless, it happens technically on his turn 2, as we're going to see from his passive. So he clears all negative effects, attacks all enemies for 500% freaking piercing damage, applies 2 random negative effects for 2 turns, which is crazy, clears 2 random positive effects on all enemies, gains evade, counters, it's unavoidable, cannot be blocked. He does huge damage. It's his passive that makes him the most interesting, though, and kind of the craziest to try and anticipate how it's going to play out without getting your hands on it. So even though I'm going to show you some footage, until you see it play out, it's going to be kind of difficult to wrap your head around it. So he cannot be revived, and his character cannot be revived, and his speed bar cannot be reduced. That means Eternal's turn meter rewind can't do it. Dazzler turn meter rewind can't do it. Rogue turn meter rewind can't do that. That's really interesting. So there's lots going into there. On any character's turn, if this character has slow, clear slow, and fill speed bar by 20%. What does this mean? This means you do not want to put slow on this character. If you put slow on this character, the next turn, it's literally on any character's turn. It's not on his turn. It's not on any ally's turn. It's on any character turn. If you put slow on this character, you're likely to make him go faster than what he was going to go, which is crazy. On turn, if charged, and he spawns with 4 charges. As we're going to see, that makes him a super interesting character to pair with Dr. Doom. On turn, if charged, fill speed bar by 100%, then lose 1 charge. This will not trigger any additional time. So basically what that little quotation mark means is he takes 1 turn, he gets a 2nd turn, but then that's it. When his 2nd turn, he'll get another turn after that, and then that's it. We'll see how it goes. On the end of turn, if this character has death proof, heal for 20% of this character's max life. On ally turn, gain a random positive effect from the list to counter, defense up, deflect, evade, offense up for 2 turns, regeneration speed. Again, this is going to be really interesting when you pair him with Doom. If this character's health is full at the start of the match, at the first time this character drops to 50% health, clear all negative effects on this character, bury yourself for 30% max health, gain 2 death proof, and summon Scarlet Witch with defense up, offense up, and death proof. Now, this is kind of interesting, but it's kind of a little bit wonky because how it plays out on offense, your Quicksilver is low. And then you have your Scarlet Witch. You can use special, and that heals your Quicksilver up, which is great. On the defense, the enemy Scarlet Witch, that summon, is going to default to using the ultimate. Now, that's going to put defense down on everybody, so that is interesting. But I just don't think it's going to be played out the way you think, the way it should be from the defense. Like, I think if your Quicksilver is low, you want that Scarlet Witch to heal him with the special, give him a bunch of extra buffs. But it just doesn't play out that way. And honestly, that Scarlet Witch summon, for the most part, she kind of just dies. Like, she's very squishy, even spawning with this defense up and the 2 death proof. But I digress. On death, apply evade to a random Hawkeye ally. That's just a cute little MCU nod. He's going to gain 50% max health. Scarlet Witch allies gain that as well. And he gains 100% focus per charge. That's a lot of focus. So at the beginning of the match, he's going to be 400% focus, which means his special up here. Sorry, my mouse is going crazy. That defense down is basically always going to land, as is that slow. Very, very powerful. Actually, we didn't look at the T4s here either, right? So we looked at the special. Very good. Again, the ultimate, you're going to need that. This clear all negative effects is huge. 100% piercing damage as well. If there's 5 enemies, that's the equivalent of 500% extra piercing damage. You want that. And then the passive is a no-brainer. Instead of being 100% with the passive T-Forward, it's only 80% on turn if charged. So, yeah, you want the passive done. The passive is definitely the most important one, followed by special, then ultimate, then basic, unless you're going to be a striker. But we should go look at this character in action, and we should also maybe discuss some ISO choices when we do that. All right, so here's Quicksilver in action a couple of times. I'll tell you what, let me fix this screen size up while it's loading in. So here's Quicksilver in action. Now, I have him paired with just the Secret Avengers here. We're taking up against Darkhold. This is going to immediately fail, and this will be... I'm going to start a little bit with the bad stuff, and then we'll get to the good stuff. So I just want to show here how his debuff is going to land and the amount of crazy damage he does to this Morgan on the first turn. So nice little turn meter rewind with the defense down. It looks like it did no damage, but then the follow-up attack almost demolishes her. And that's a good showing why pretty good with Kestrel. However, now we're in trouble because now he's getting tunneled out. And I will have you guys know, this is a 7 yellow, 4 red star Quicksilver. And he just gets beat up. You're going to see he gets tunneled a couple times and he's dead. So you need to be able to protect him for him to be able to pop off. So let's just go ahead and fast forward through this and we'll get to the next example. And yes, this was all done in Crucible in the playtest, mind you. So subject to change. This I thought was super interesting and a really good insight as to why Quicksilver's passive, where he cannot be turn meter rewound, is actually very strong. Let's get to the actual fight. And here we're taking out the Eternals, which is good, because we can no longer use Eternals in that new Stage 5, right? We got to be ready to not be able to use the Eternals or Tangled Web. So the fact that Quicksilver can sub in here with Apocalypse is pretty cool. And sorry, this is me going through the footage in real time here. There we go. So I go with the New Warriors, Quicksilver, and Apocalypse. Now the New Warriors did just get reworked as well. They won't be available forever for this counter, but for the meantime, it's pretty good. So the New Warriors are all going to go before Quicksilver because they do get 20% speed bar. But then Quicksilver is the fastest character before Rogue goes. So Rogue comes in to do her special. Yes, she hits Quicksilver with all those abilities, but the turn meter rewind does not happen, and then Quicksilver starts popping off on her anyway. And because allies were taking a bunch of turns, Quicksilver got a bunch of buffs along the way. So he still had offense up from the New Warriors going, which means he still smacked that rogue really, really hard. I was very impressed by the amount of damage that it did. And we're also going to see here the new warrior is kind of doing a lot of lifting too, which is fun. All right, so now it's Quicksilver's turn. He's going to use both of his abilities here, which is great. He goes ahead, and I do have him as a striker, so he's going to go ahead and beat up on the Dazzler there. And now he's stuck behind the rogue, so he ults. Dazzler doesn't die, so a little bit of a damage issue coming from that perspective. Actually, no, I lied. She definitely died. Sorry, the playtest pulling tricks on me. So she died, but she had that revive once, so it didn't look like she died. And the same thing is going to happen to Gambit here in a little bit. And then, yeah, Scarlet Witch coming in. I believe I made her use that special. So that was a really good extra heal, bringing that Quicksilver back into full life. And then she's tanking some shots for us, which is very much appreciated. Yeah, see, same thing happened to Sunfire. He died, but, like, didn't die. And Apocalypse coming in too. So the thing about this matchup is it's kind of showcasing a lot of power for a bunch of new characters, right? It's showcasing the power for Apocalypse. It's showcasing the power of the new Warrior team. But let's look at just the power of Quicksilver. Now, this is a big Quicksilver, and we do have a couple things that we might want to be worried about. So, this was terrible positioning. I shouldn't have had Star-Lord. I should have had a pre-taunt. But Doom gets pushed, and now he's going to ult, and he's going to bring Quicksilver for this ride. Even with that offense down, Quicksilver gets chosen. So he now has offense up because Doom took a turn. On any allied turn, he's getting these random buffs, right? For this, and this is a concern I have with Quicksilver, he takes a lot of turns. I love him as a striker. He hit us so much damage. I don't know how much dependence that is on stars, but that's something we'll talk about in a little bit. But as far as ice attack goes, because he's taking so much turns, it can be difficult to make sure that he has enough vulnerables to hit into, especially if you're bringing into him with a team that has characters slower than 125. You really want characters, you want at least 2 characters going before him, putting vulnerables out for both of his first attacks, and then again before his next attacks. So Doom can absolutely do that as a Raider or as a Skirmisher. Now, I think I'd prefer him as a Skirmisher, though my Doom is currently a Raider. So let's go back in here and we'll watch this. And this is playtest footage, so for whatever reason, this Doom is actually going to really damage this Red Hulk. Like, that's just fake news, guys. The playtest must be broken because my Doom has never hit a Red Hulk that hard. But that's not what we're here to see. We're here to see the power of Quicksilver. So let's play a little bit of Sesame Street, the count, and let's count it out. 1 turn for Quicksilver. Ha ha ha. 2 turns for Quicksilver. Ha ha ha. 3 turns for Quicksilver. Ha ha ha. That's what Doom does, right? Oh, but Quicksilver's passive also takes in 4 turns. 5 turns. 6 turns. So that should have been it. But he was also right about to take his turn before Doom goes. So, because Quicksilver has 4 charges, if Doom pulls him to do the ult, he actually gets 8 frickin' turns. 8 turns in a row on this character. That is so crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And the amount of damage it does. But listen, I don't want to rain on anyone's parade, but I have some concerns with this character. Now, my concern is he is so good that it's hard to justify putting him anywhere in war right now that doesn't already work as is. It feels wasteful, but also sometimes it doesn't work. Like putting him with A-Force feels like a waste because A-Force will just beat it anyway. Putting him with War Dogs, you can't do that. Putting him with Tangled Web or Eternals, you can do that, but they're beating their teams anyway. I have a hard time placing where to put him, even though he's as good as he is. But in Crucible, I can definitely see him being put on the defensive side, doing so much damage to you, taking turns, really ruining your efficiency. But besides just where to place him, I also have issues, or rather concerns, about where we're going to be getting his shards. So we know that he's tied to Crucible. That's all we know. Probably means it's going to be a little bit before people have him super maxed out. But if you do look, if you go at the health, he has the 2nd most health in the game. Damage, 63. That's actually a lot of damage. And because he's taking a lot of turns, it's even more. So 63, that puts him number 42, which is actually very high. Did I say Shield Operative? Shield Operative is the 38th highest damage in the game. All right, whatever. I guess Fury rework OP. My point is, this character is bananas good. He's a standalone character. I don't want to speak this into existence. There are whales who have been buying up Dark promotion credits like crazy, and they have nothing to spend it on. This is a standalone character, kind of like Zombie Iron Man was, right? Like Zombie Iron Man pulled in Hela for sure. He kind of pulls in Scarlet Witch, I guess. Not really. I wouldn't use Scarlet Witch with him at all. I'm pretty sure he's going to be a Dark promotion credits on the Red Stars, guys. I have asked, but I didn't receive an answer one way or the other. I have that concern. And my concern is that when, say, we do get him on a free-to-play, and say, like, 3-3, maybe you can assume that. I don't know. Sometimes they've been a little bit sketchier with this, but maybe you'll get him at 3-3. Let's hit calculate power, and then let's look at what he has. Under 500,000 life. That's easily one shot. At 125 speed, he could die before you get a turn. Damage at 31,000 is actually still pretty respectable, considering he's taking 2 turns in a row. That'd be good. The armor at 12,000, that's pretty low. I'd be concerned that as a free-to-play player, you may not be able to get Quicksilver at the level where I was just displaying how strong and effective he was. So that is my big concern with this character, is how we're going to get the shards, how we're going to get the red stars, and also where we're going to place him. So although I am super hyped for this character, and honestly, him and Doom alone is really fun and really intriguing, and I think that's something that I will be aiming to use him with, at least in the beginning, before something better pops up, or maybe using him with the 4-piece New Warrior team. So there's a lot with this character. Sorry, I know this video was a little bit all over the place. Blame it on COVID brain and Diablo 4 coming out in a few hours, because I'm definitely going to be playing that on stream right now as you may be watching this video. So come check it out, because Diablo 4 full-time streamer. Just saying. Not really, but maybe. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Bye-bye. Oh, so I was just reminded that maybe I didn't discuss ISO. So I really like Striker for him if you have the vulnerables out and ready for him. Otherwise, Raider. Because he gets that focus from his charges anyways. You don't need Skirmisher. And because he's hitting often and he's doing AoE damage on that ultimate, I can see Raider working for him. But again, Striker is going to be way better if he has the vulnerables to hit into. And now, I hope you enjoyed the video.
That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.